What would your life look like if you climbed through every level of an American cartel? At the bottom, you have almost no power, barely enough money to survive, and everyone above you can replace you. At the top, you may control enormous amounts of money and influence, but you also become the person everyone wants to betray, arrest, or eliminate. This isn't a glamorous journey. It's a fictionalized look at how a criminal hierarchy can turn a person's life from ordinary to increasingly dangerous, where every promotion comes with a bigger price. Rank 1. The Street Runner. Your journey begins at the lowest level. You're the person given small tasks and little information. You might deliver messages, move packages, or act as an extra pair of hands. You don't make decisions and you don't know the entire operation. Your income is small compared with the people above you, and your biggest asset isn't money, it's obedience. You're easily replaced, constantly watched, and expected to prove that you're trustworthy. One mistake can end your role instantly. At this level, the idea of becoming powerful feels exciting, but you quickly discover that the lowest rank has the least protection and the most exposure. Rank 2. The Street Dealer. Now you have more responsibility and a little more money. Instead of simply carrying out instructions, you're interacting directly with customers and managing a small network of contacts. Your reputation begins to matter, but so do your enemies. Every transaction creates another potential witness, another conflict, and another reason for law enforcement to pay attention. You may spend more money than before, but you also have more pressure. The lifestyle can appear flashy from the outside, yet much of your time is spent looking over your shoulder. The higher you climb, the harder it becomes to live a normal life. Rank 3. The Crew Member. At this stage, you're no longer working completely alone. You're part of a small group operating under someone with more authority. Your responsibilities become broader, and you may help coordinate lower-level members. You begin hearing names and conversations that people at the bottom never hear. With knowledge comes danger. The organization now has reasons to trust you, but also reasons to fear what you might reveal if you're arrested or decide to leave. Your income may increase, but so does your dependence on the organization. Walking away becomes much harder than joining. Rank 4. The Enforcer. This is where the atmosphere changes dramatically. An enforcer exists to maintain discipline and intimidate people within the organization or its surrounding criminal network. Your reputation becomes part of your protection. People may avoid challenging you because they believe you're dangerous. But that reputation comes with a psychological cost. Violence creates consequences that don't disappear when the job is over. You may become feared, but fear isn't the same as loyalty. In a criminal organization, people can obey you today and secretly plan against you tomorrow. Your life becomes a constant calculation of who can be trusted. Rank 5. The Lieutenant. You've now moved away from the street and closer to management. Instead of personally handling every low-level task, you supervise other people. You communicate with higher-ranking members, manage territory or operations, and become responsible when something goes wrong. This is the first level where power can feel real. Money comes more easily, and your lifestyle may become noticeably different. But the danger has also changed. You are no longer just one person in the crowd. You're someone law enforcement may specifically want to identify. Every mistake made by people working under you can become your problem. Rank 6. The Captain. At this level, you're managing a much larger operation. You may have several people beneath you and a direct connection to senior leadership. Your world becomes less visible. Meetings happen behind closed doors. Communication becomes more cautious, and trust becomes extremely valuable. You can afford expensive cars, luxury homes, and private travel, but wealth creates another problem. Attention. The more visibly successful you become, the harder it is to explain where everything came from. You may have money, but you can't simply enjoy it like an ordinary wealthy person. Every luxury can become evidence. Rank 7. The Regional Boss. Now you are one of the most powerful people in a particular area. You don't personally handle the small details anymore. Instead, you manage people who manage other people. Your influence can reach across multiple groups, and your decisions can affect hundreds of lives. But this level creates an entirely different kind of paranoia. Every ambitious person beneath you is a potential rival. Every arrest can create a chain reaction. Every disagreement can become a leadership crisis. You may have security, money, and influence, but genuine freedom becomes almost impossible. Your position depends on everyone believing that you will remain powerful tomorrow. Rank 8. The Cartel Leader. At the top of the visible hierarchy, you are responsible for an enormous criminal organization. Your name may never appear publicly, but investigators may spend years trying to connect you to the operation. You have access to vast resources and people willing to work for you, but you also have the greatest number of enemies. You cannot simply walk into a restaurant, take a vacation, or build a normal public life without considering the consequences. Your wealth can buy comfort, but it cannot buy certainty. Every person around you has a motive. Some want money, some want protection, some want your position. Rank 9. The Hidden Kingpin. And then there's a level almost nobody sees. The person who stays far away from the street and attempts to remain invisible. Whether such a figure truly exists in the way movies portray is another question, but the concept represents the ultimate illusion of control. You might have money, connections, and influence, yet your life becomes built around secrecy. You can't fully trust employees, partners, or even longtime associates. You can't erase your past, and you can't guarantee that someone won't eventually cooperate with investigators. The higher you rise, the more there is to lose. And that's the real story behind every rank. The journey from street runner to kingpin isn't simply a story about gaining money and power. It's a story about losing freedom. At the bottom, you may have almost nothing, but you can still dream about a normal future. At the top, you may have everything money can buy, yet you can never truly relax. The criminal hierarchy promises power, but the price of that power is fear, distrust, violence, and the constant possibility of prison or death. The movies often show the luxury cars, expensive watches, huge houses, and piles of cash. What they don't always show is the other side. Families destroyed, friendships disappearing, constant suspicion, victims left behind, and years spent trying to avoid consequences. Every promotion gives you more authority, but it also gives you another reason to look over your shoulder. Eventually, the question isn't how much money you control, it's whether you still control your own life. So if you ever imagined climbing from the bottom of a cartel hierarchy to the very top, remember what the journey actually represents. More money doesn't necessarily mean more freedom. More power doesn't necessarily mean more security, and becoming feared doesn't mean becoming respected. At every level, the risks grow alongside the rewards. The final lesson is simple. In a world built on secrecy and crime, there may be many ranks, but there is no truly safe level. If you enjoyed this journey through the hidden hierarchy, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more cinematic stories exploring the world's most powerful, dangerous, and mysterious lifestyles. Thanks for watching.